think the word AI is outdated. Within 5 years, the majority of the world economy will be contributed by AI agents rather than human. Maybe crypto or crypto utilities are not meant to be for human beings. We are just the test users.
Oh, I see.
Maybe the AI agents are the real users that really need crypto.
My name is Mia, and you're watching Proof of Talk, a short series of podcasts where I'll be interviewing the leading founders and investors in crypto. All interviews are unscripted, meaning the guests have no idea what I'm about to ask, and neither do I.
Proof of Talk.
We're in Hong Kong with Proof of Talk, and today I'm with Michael from Amber Group. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
It's good to have you on. Is it your first time in Hong Kong?
No, actually we started Amber in Hong Kong back in 2017.
Okay, yeah.
But now I live in Singapore, so coming back to Hong Kong.
Yeah, way
all
more
the time.
calm than here.
A little bit, yeah, slower, I think, overall, lifestyle-wise.
Tell me the story, how you started Amber.
Sure. So, 2017, my co-founders, myself, most of us were colleagues at Morgan Stanley's trading floor, plus our CTO from Bloomberg, New York. We knew each other for years, either worked together or, knew each other since college. And, 2017, I think two major technological breakthrough happened. One, in the early of the year, there was Google DeepMind that launched AlphaGo, which beat one of the best Go players in the whole world called Lisedo in a game of Go. For those of you less familiar, it used to be considered unbeatable by computers because the computation you need to do for all the possible moves, all the possible outcomes, I think exceed the number of atoms in the universe. But then, of course, the breakthrough there is with now today we call machine learning, reinforcement learning, AI in general, that start to think in some ways more like human instead of trying to list all the possibilities. It tries to think. It's trained to think through probabilistically and based on real-world system, come up with a strategy like human to be human in the Go game. So that sort of inspired us because we've at that point we've been working in the financial industry for a couple of years, and given most of the founding team had long history of coding technology background, we all see the discrepancy between how large and mature the financial industry is supposed to be and how still limited technology is applied in the frontier of financial industry. Yeah. So once once Google's AlphaGo came out, it was a clear sign that we need to revolutionize finance with technology. And then of course the second major breakthrough happened in 2017 was crypto, right? With the ICO boom, Bitcoin I think went all the way to close to $20,000, the all-time high at the time. Ethereum took place with the ICO, sort of put crowdfunding onto blockchain and extended it worldwide. And the two things happened one after the other. And when we started Amber, we actually we named the company Amber AI. We were actually one of the first companies in Asia to use machine learning neural networks to price liquidity, to price financial assets. And then, of course, crypto was hot, so we also included crypto. Yeah. But by early 2018, we were still less than 10 people as a startup. Crypto became over 90% of our business. And as a young startup, we figured, we need to focus on what's profitable, what's working, and we pivoted fully into a crypto company while still keeping the AI technology DNA. Fast forward today, 8 years later, Amber today is a global leader in digital asset services and digital asset technology. Internally, we are a global team of around 450 people across Singapore, Hong Kong, Vancouver, Japan, elsewhere. In terms of businesses, we really service now the full spectrum, very proudly, of customers in crypto, from the most crypto native, the most degen, most innovative, most fast iterating crypto native projects to people who are coming into crypto, the family offices, the institutions, the high net worth individuals that want to invest in crypto long term. We service all of them. And, we see ourselves as the crypto gateway, as a great gateway to crypto finance, as a gateway to crypto technology. And again, with the latest involvement of in AI in the past 2-3 years, and with a lot of our internal expertise, understanding, we also see our position extending from being the crypto gateway to humans to what I think very soon, the crypto gateway to the upcoming AI agent economy.
I have so many questions. So one would be, obviously, like AI has evolved since. You said it previously. You named the company Ember AI. Obviously, you dropped the AI part.
We're still Ember AI in Hong Kong. Actually,
Really?
Ember AI remains our Hong Kong entity name, but our business is so diverse today.
Yeah.
So we will call ourselves Ember Group because we have a group of businesses. Some of them, are more on the TradFi side. Some of them are more technology advanced. So today we are Ember Group.
But I imagine like today you can do more with AI than you could previously. And so my question would be, what is possible today that wasn't before? And how are you using AI today?
Great question. Actually, I can share a lot of interesting stories of our journey on that topic. So when we started, as I mentioned, we were one of the first to use machine learning, neural networks in pricing financial markets. The reason the bigger firms wasn't willing to do that was back then, what's unique about reinforcement learning or machine learning is they are sort of black box and they're non-linear, which means, you don't exactly know why the AI or the algorithm give you the result it does, right? And that wasn't comfortable for all the big banks, for a lot of big asset managers, because think about it, if you are a portfolio manager in a big bank or in an asset management firm, right? You need to report to your LPs, your CIOs, your CROs, and if your portfolio is done and they ask you what happened, and you say, I can't explain, the AI told me to buy these. You put yourself in a career risk, right? So as a startup, we had advantage to say, hey, as long as it's working, as a startup, we don't exactly have to fully understand how it's working. We just believe the technology will get better, AI will get better, and it will be more efficient to price financial assets that way. So that was sort of, what started our journey. Now, of course, past 2-3 years in AI, the biggest developments are large language models, right? Starting end of 22 with, the launch of ChatGPT 4, right?
Yeah.
And it was also an interesting timing because in crypto, end of 2022, we had the blow up of FTX, right? The industry suffered, we suffered as a company, and the 23 afterwards was a very bad bear markets for most of it. There was very little to do in crypto. And but on the other end, I, myself, my co-founder, our CTO Thomas, the two of us had a lot of time to, actually had a lot of free time to geek deep in AI again with, the developments of large language model. Now back to your question, what's available then with the large language models is, I would say before large language models, AI was still a numbers game, right? You use AI to play Go, which are calculating the moves, the winning probabilities, to price financial markets, which you put a lot of data in, right? And it spins out, data signals or pricing or whatsoever, right? After large language models, you can start to build sort of a worldview, or you can build, sort of business abilities that are beyond numbers. And especially what's interesting, I don't know if you know about that, even until today, large language models, a lot of them are terrible at math, right? You would think these very smart AI, so sometimes they get simple math wrong all the time. You ask them, there's a meme, right? Probabilistically, if you ask any of the models today, whether 9.11 or 9.8, which number is larger, there's a chance it will say 9.11 is larger than 9.8. While, my 10-year-old son will tell you that's wrong, right? So, but on the other hand, what's available with large language models is you can input a lot of non-numerical data, right? Information about, how this room looks like, our conversation, right? Or even, what's going on today on the news as data inputs into the model. And then it will deal with that and give you non-numerical outputs, right? It will speak to you like a person. It can handle conversations. It will tell you knowledge in a way, right? And that made a lot of our business possible to be run by AI for the first time. So in 23, Thomas and I, along with our internal AI team, we did a really cool first project called the EmberBot. So today, if you are one of our high net worth institutional customer, and if you traded with us through a Telegram chat, you will see there's an account called the EmberBot in the chat. What EmberBot does is it understands all the conversation. It gives market colors when there's news or when there's, when it digests market information, give you what's going on in the market. And also when you do a trade, right, it books the trade on the back end. Now, it's actually a lot harder than it sounds like, because think about it. Today, if you're a client, you might come to us in the morning and say, hey, how are you? What's Bitcoin doing today? And our trader might be, oh, it's going up. And you'll be like, oh, what's the price to buy? And we'll say, oh, this is the price to buy. Then you talk about something else. You talk about, the family. You talk about what's a good restaurant. And, 3 hours later, you say, hey, let's buy $1 million of Bitcoin, right? So that conversation is fairly complicated. There's a lot of context, right? But now with, large language models, with AI, actually, EmberBot can book that trade, right? We still have a human verify in case, again, sometimes it's bad at math and can get things wrong.
Yeah.
And then later we did a second project after EmberBot, which was even more interesting. We built what's called Ember Virtual RM. Okay. So RM stands for relationship managers. They're like, your private banker, your salesperson, right? We have great professionals. They service a lot of large family offices that highly trained, they're extremely professional, very knowledgeable about crypto and the market. But they need to sleep. They need to travel. They sometimes are on the plane or dealing with other customers. So we figure we need a virtual RM and AI to do that job, or especially when they're busy. We implement that, and that's significant because for the first time we figured these AI agents can be very powerful if you build, instead of building a single agent. EmberBot, as I mentioned, was actually a single agent. You just need one agent, one program. You design it, it can do that. But for an AI to act like a human salesperson, a human customer service, or a human business professional, you actually need multiple parts, right? Yeah. You essentially need multi-agent systems. So Ember Virtual RM is the first time we built a multi-agent system. That was cool. Then, that triggered us to launch our accelerator in July 2024, when Thomas and I, through our internal projects, through a lot of thinking and a lot of learning, we came to the conclusion that maybe crypto or crypto utilities are not meant to be for human beings. We are just the test users.
Oh, I see.
Maybe the AI agents are the real users that really need crypto. So we launched our accelerator with a thesis of crypto for AI.
That's a good point to say, you don't need to understand how it works. Someone else is going to understand it. That's an interesting take. On AI agents, I feel like the vision is very clear, but when put into practice, it feels like it's and AI moves really fast, but it feels like we're not quite there yet. It's almost like when we first started generating images and it kind of looked a little bit weird, but then a few months later we're like, oh my God, this is so realistic. So I feel like we're kind of somewhat on the nuances of that. Is this, are you aligned with this?
I think you're spot on, because even without being necessarily a technical person, right? I think, you're spot on and very insightful in understanding AI is only getting better, right? That's one thing I think very few people today can deny, right? They might say, oh, it's still early. It might take a few years, maybe a decade or more decades, depends on how optimistic you are about technology. But I think no one can deny it will only get better, not worse, right? So take aside the timing, which is always hardest part in trading or investment. Take aside the timing. Yeah. The direction is very clear, right? These AIs are only getting smarter, more capable, and the applications you can build around them, or what we rather think, the agents, the multi-agent systems you can build them, are only going to be more capable. And at some point, you have to accept they will be more capable than both individual humans and also, the companies today. So, one of the things we started doing last year after Ember Virtual RM is we try to generalize that ability, right? Generalize that multi-agent system so that it can be standardized and applied to everything, right? Whether running a media company, running a trading company, running a financial services firm, all of that can be done through this multi-agent system. Now, today they might not be as great interviewer as you are, but you bet they're getting better.
They are, yeah.
Right. At some point, they might be as good as you.
They might be. No, they will definitely be better than me.
Let's hope that takes quite a few years.
They will have more energy than me. They don't need to eat. They don't need sleep.
Exactly. You're spot on. So these agent system, they work 24/7, and also they're in a way selfless, right? I mean, they are not influenced by human selfishness. They are not influenced by human emotions. So if you give them a goal, right, which is actually how these models are trained anyway. You give them a goal, a reward function, a loss function. If you do this, you get rewarded. If you do that, you get punished, right? And they naturally converge towards that goal. So you think about these multi-agent system. You give them a clear goal. Okay, you want to be the best media company in the intelligent agent economy. It will move towards that. It doesn't think about, how do I take care of myself financially? How do I, am I happy, angry, and all of that? It just focuses on getting towards that goal. And again, like we talked about, it only gets better and better.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. One last question. Your perspective on robotics.
So that's a great question. So I think people need to define robots more broadly, right? Today, when people hear the word robot, they think of a humanoid, right? Like a human-shaped robot, or maybe a robot dog, right? But anything with a chip inside, and with whether on-chip AI models or through the internet remote model access.
It could just be like the mic, like it's self-adjusting it. Or whatever.
This mic, if there's a chip, right, but maybe not a chip that can run a model yet. But if there is, it's a robot. The self-driving Tesla car is definitely a robot.
Yeah.
It will go around and collect data, multimodal data 24/7. That doorbell, right, if you put a chip in it, right, and a camera in it, it's a robot. So, again, when we say, that's why I think within 5 years, the majority of the world economy will be contributed by AI agents rather than human. And these AI agents will take different forms, purely software forms, they operate on the internet, or physical forms, all kinds of robots or robot systems. Right, this microphone with that doorbell, they both know what we are talking about, who's coming in and out, where we are, and all that data. And, they can do a lot of things with that. They are a robot. So robotics is giving extension to AI in the physical form, and they need that, right? And also, funnily enough, let's even take a step back. I actually think the word AI is outdated now.
Yeah.
AI stands for artificial intelligence, right? So essentially, we are still seeing AI primarily as a tool. It's artificial, right? It's, the word comes from artifacts, right? It's to be used by humans, right? Their own, they should be autonomous. So the robots, the programs, they will make decisions on their own. They will operate on their own, and that's why crypto is important. Because today, one challenge for them is they can't rely on traditional financial systems, right? Back to Ember Virtual RM, one reason we didn't deploy it was our compliance didn't know how to deal with it, right? Because we're licensed in Singapore, in Hong Kong, and we need to fit the regulations that are still designed even before crypto. Now I'll start to design for crypto, but still designed for humans, right? Yeah. So while in crypto, these robots, these AIs, they will have access to their own assets in the form of crypto. They will spend those resources, they will fundraise, they will make money in the form of crypto. They will do commerce, do collaboration with each other through crypto. And then very soon you will have this, this collective intelligence that's beyond, I think very soon beyond human. So we can no longer call it artificial intelligence because they are no longer just tools. I think the better term is probably something like, I like to call them intelligent agents. And I think, crypto and AI together will accelerate us into this intelligent agent economy.
Definitely. It's very exciting. For everyone watching, where can they find you?
I'm usually on I'm usually in Singapore or Hong Kong if I'm not traveling. But I'm a bit of a nerd, so I don't go out much.
So like online, I guess.
Online, I'm on Twitter
Yep.
at Michael Wu Amber.
Yeah.
And you can reach our firm, ambergroup.io, or our accelerator, amber.ac. And yeah, I mean, we love exploring ideas or talking to people who are passionate about crypto, AI. I can talk about this all day because it's actually what I consider.
Yeah, I could
fun
go on for
anyway.
like 3 hours. Michael, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Proof of Talk.